All right, Christmas is behind us. New Year on the horizon. Many
Right.
more podcasts ahead.
What are we? We're at 100? We've done 100 this year?
Is 101.
Well, that's cool. We've done 100.
101st episode of the podcast. So we're going to mention the sponsors real quick. The new book from Tracy Slepcevic is called Warrior Mom. You can order that at warriormom.org. Well, you've read it. You actually read the whole thing.
I read it in one day.
You haven't read a book in 5 years, and you read the whole thing in one day.
Well, I just couldn't put it down because I wanted to see her experience. And her kid is, I think, 17 years old now or around that age. And he's functioning.
Yeah. So the tagline on the book, and you can go to warriormom.org to get more details and order the book now, is I don't know if this is exactly what it is, but a mother's journey in healing her son with autism. I think that's the tagline.
Right.
And a lot of people, I think, read that and they go, whoa, 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 what are you talking about? What do you mean healing your son with autism? Like, because I think people get caught up in the word healing and they associate it with cure.
Right. And there is no cure.
Right. But there is, like, just as there are levels of function,
Right.
you know, there are opportunities to increase levels of function based on certain things, which, of course, is all in the book about what Tracy did.
Well, and so she was talking about when her son was like 2 and 3 years old, and it was just so relatable to Cal that I had to just keep reading because I'm like, if he's functioning, I want Cal to be functioning one day. And just even when she was talking about the diagnosis and hearing the word autism for the first time, it's just, I can relate to it. And I just had to hear more.
Yeah. I could tell you were into it because you were texting me between your clients. You were reading it, and I'm like, well, if she's doing that, like, she must be into this.
I know. I was really into it.
Right,
I actually got the book from Jenny McCarthy, and I haven't even opened it yet.
She has a new one?
No, she does not have a new one.
It's new to you.
It's new to me,
Yeah.
but the book
that, like,
Warrior
10
Mom.
years old?
Yeah, but she read it. Warrior Mom.
Gotcha.
So
So that's warriormom.org to get the book. We'll talk more about that later on, and also put Tracy on the get her on the podcast as well. But warriormom.org is how you can order that. Also, our friends at Aspire Nutrition, you can go to dailyautism.com, click the link to Aspire Nutrition. The probiotics for the little autism tummies, so important. The nutrients, obviously so important with the very limited diets to a lot of these autism kiddos. So you can see all of the stuff that Cal takes and we take now too. Our 4 other kids basically rob many of our products from Aspire because they're hooked into it now, so which is a good thing.
I'm slamming those multivitamins with all this sickness going
There's a
around.
lot of cold going around and flu, and yeah, I do the powder. I'll take the 5-in-1 probiotic and just put it in a thing of Gatorade, like Gatorade Zero, and then I'll put the multi on top of that. So I don't know what kind of superpower drink I've created, but it's pretty awesome. So dailyautism.com, click on the Aspire Nutrition link, and you can see all the products and everything right there. All right, Christmas. So we're not big fans of the holidays anymore.
Nope.
Yeah,
It's
I think
too much.
This was the year where it was like, okay, I think we're just like, we tried to fake it for a couple of years, and now we're just like, we don't have the energy to fake it anymore.
Well, we can't travel. We can't travel with Cal.
No.
There's no riding in the car long distances or even trying to get on an airplane. If we got on an airplane, we'd get kicked off.
Bro, wait a minute.
We would get kicked off.
Good luck getting on the airplane.
Yeah, I
mean,
know.
These people, I read something this morning. There's people at the Tampa International Airport. They were flying in from places like Dallas, Houston, Cleveland. They've been there for 3 or 4 days, can't find their luggage, and the airlines are like, you might get to leave Friday.
Oh, my God.
They didn't even get to where they wanted to go.
Wow.
And they have to pay for everything on their own, the hotels, food, everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so,
awful.
I mean, just add that on top of our disastrous airline situation in this country. I would never imagine that our country, like the airline situation would be, it's almost a disaster. You pay all this money.
Why is that happening?
I mean, they said they don't have the staffing levels.
And stop booking people.
Yeah, it's a money grab. They just want to take your money, you know? So,
That's awful.
Yeah. I mean, imagine that, though, with like as a special needs family, driving to the airport and just not sure that you'll ever make it on your plane. And if you do make it on your plane, you're not sure that the plane isn't going to go somewhere else that you weren't supposed to go, park there, and there you are. That's where you'll be for a few days.
And can you imagine telling him we're going to this place and then we don't go there? I mean, that's like meltdown.
Yeah, it's awful. And I say that because and just somewhere among all of this disaster with the airline business right now and the holidays, there are special needs families who are getting stuck.
Yeah.
You just know it. And it's tough. I mean, you don't have to be a special needs family for it to be tough, but
right, yeah.
on top of all those other things, and were you prepared to stay in a hotel for a few days, or a hotel somewhere that's snowy and you can't move, and then you don't have your luggage? So what are you gonna do? I mean,
yeah, that's awful.
Yeah.
So this is the first year I was like, I'm not decorating. I'm not putting up a Christmas tree. None of it. The other kids were begging me. So on Christmas Eve, I let them put a small tree up and decorate the dining room to where Cal couldn't get to it. He couldn't get to it, and he can only see it if he wants to see it, because we built this structure to keep him from escaping.
Like I've always said, our house looks like a Chuck E. Cheese exploded in it. It's just...
Yeah, do you want to describe the structure?
I'll try, but you've got some pictures and video, which obviously do a lot better than me. If you go to dailyautism.com, and you can link to the Facebook and Instagram page. But yeah, it's just crash mats and ball pits and trampolines. And then we bought this outdoor playhouse, which you built and made it an inside playhouse to basically cover up this entrance from the dining room into the living room. And then there's a big net that kind of holds everything together. And then there's this white iron gate, which is supposed to help kind of keep everything together. And it's a real mess. But well, I'll tell you that it's made it better. But it's not been 100%. But it's cut down a lot. I think, too, what it is it's almost like he needs energy to get over it. So I just think sometimes he just doesn't have the energy to try.
Gosh, and I need energy to pull him out when he gets in between this blue mat and the iron gate.
Yeah.
So it is doing its job, but then I have to pull 45 pounds up, and it's hard. He's making me strong.
It's definitely a maximum security prison meets a Chuck E. Cheese. One more reason why we don't have people over to our house. People don't even want to come over to our house anymore, but that's fine too. Like I think they've just seen it over the years develop into more of some type of facility that they're uncomfortable being in, and I understand that 100%.
Well, you see it and you're like, whoa, what's this?
Yeah, it's not. I just think that people have a lot of questions when they walk in, but they don't really want to ask the questions. And I'm like, I get it. Like, these are weird questions to ask, right?
Right.
Like, why is there like some kind of a fish net hanging up here and it's bolted to the wall, and that thing definitely belongs outside, but it's inside. And oh, look here, what a nice trampoline, and but it's hooked up to an iron gate, and yeah, it's a mess. But this was like hours and hours of online research. We made a trip to Home Depot, spent an hour or two there, totally wasted our time, didn't find anything. The funniest thing, though, about the trip to Home Depot was talking to the people about what we were trying to do. And I think the one guy was about to call like Child Protective Services because we were explaining to him like what we were trying to do. And he was just kind of like, why would you do that? And I'm like, oh, man, it's a long story, but
Yeah, we were trying to put a sliding glass door indoors to divide two different areas of our house. And he's like, this is weird. But we're like, do you have like a gate or a fence or...
I think I screwed up when I was like, what about like an indoor fence? And he's like, what is that? I'm like, I don't know. It could be a fence for the outdoors that we could put indoors. He's like, so you want an outdoor fence in the inside of your house? I'm like, sounds good to me. He's like, yeah, I don't really know how that would work. And I'm like, all right, back to square one.
But autism parents can relate.
Yeah.
And I just thought this morning, like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That is a real life with autism.
Yeah. Y'all can. I don't know who came up with that saying.
Me.
No, you did not come up with that saying. Thank you.
Who sings that? Carrie Underwood?
No, Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, Kelly Clarkson.
You just said me. You literally think that people believe that you're the first person to say that?
No, I'm saying that's how I think of autism for me.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't buy into that. I bought into that before this, but now it's like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. No, it actually takes you almost to death and you're exhausted afterwards. Thanks for the lie, Kelly Clarkson. I'm not buying any more of your music.
That's funny. Anyways, for Christmas, Cal does not like presents and Santa Claus in his house, So like we gave him presents leading up to Christmas Day, and on Christmas Day he only got a few, and we didn't make a big deal out of it because he doesn't like too much excitement and he gets overwhelmed.
One thing I think that maybe saved us, at least I felt that, so Baby Shark, we did find some Baby Shark Christmas episodes.
Yep.
where the baby sharks are dressed up as the elves or Santa and Mrs. Claus. He really did get into that this year, was singing it. He's doing this thing where he's walking around going, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and then he'll start laughing, which I'll take. I'll take that.
Or he says Happy Holidays.
Oh, Happy Holidays, yeah. So
Ha
I'll
ha
take.
ha ha.
Yeah, and he does this kind of creepy laugh at the end. Which
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
I don't know where that came from either, but it's coming from a good place, so he's happy. And
He did like Elf on the Shelf.
he did get into that this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something he did not care for the last couple of years. So it was good, but, it's like we have friends and family that, how's your Christmas? And I'm like, stop. Like, come on. Like, you already know the answer. It's like, it's fine.
You know what I hate? I hope you have a great day. Okay. Well, it's not going to be great, okay?
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. Okay if we survive it.
Yeah, yeah.
Or I hope this gets better. Well, it's not getting better today.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Charlie's birthday. Say it.
What?
When we were singing Happy Birthday. In the slow motion.
Oh, yeah. So, so two of our kids, one has a birthday the week before Christmas, and then Trey has a birthday the week after Christmas. So December is a busy and very expensive month for us.
Yeah.
I see it coming on the calendar, and I shake in fear. But so we were singing Happy Birthday to Charlie. She turned 12. And he's looking around like, whoa, this wasn't on the schedule. And he took his iPad.
Play-Doh.
So, a big ball of Play-Doh. A big ball. And looks at the birthday cake because he knows that's what, we're directing our attention to, and the candles written and everything. He winds back like an MLB pitcher. And I'm like, oh, no, you're not going to throw that huge. I mean, this is like probably a 3 or 4 pound ball of Play-Doh, like a huge ball. And he starts like winding forward. And I'm like, no. And perfect release point, maximum velocity, and a strike. This thing just hits the cake like dead on.
Lands right in the middle of it.
Right in the middle of it. And I mean, that pretty much is like what this is. It's like we went off schedule with singing Happy Birthday. And look, he's 5, right? So it's a thing of Play-Doh. And, we talk about all the time, like we worry about, adding 10 years and 100 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
And what does that turn into, right? Because we've heard a lot of the stories. So I get it. Like, it's tough. He's always had a problem with birthdays. We should probably stop the singing in front of him. But I don't know.
Well, we sang quietly. We celebrated clapping quietly.
Yeah.
But the clapping quietly still was too much.
It's the golf clap. But
and
even
she had already blew out the candles.
I think it's the motion of the clapping now. It's
and
not
maybe
the
even the blowing out the candles.
Could be the candles. Although he likes to do that once in a while. Mm-hmm. Maybe he wants to do it first. I don't know. And whatever we figure out here will, inevitably change because that's the deal. But, yeah, it was probably one of the most athletic things I've ever seen him do, to be quite honest with you.
Really good aim.
I mean, speed and accuracy together. I mean, that's what they want in the Major League Baseball with pitchers. That's the game, right? Like, a lot of people have speed. Accuracy kind of sucks. Other people are really accurate, but they get smashed with home runs because their speed sucks. He seemed to put it all together. So,
And we all just looked at each other, and I think everyone kind of wanted to laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, well, I think it just made it just reminded us of our deal.
Yeah.
Like that's the deal. Christmas morning, though, was good. It wasn't like, we got him this wagon and he jumped in it and sat in it. So I think that was good. That was something that and again, nothing brilliant on our part because we didn't know what was going to happen. There was a chance he was going to hate it and we had to take it out.
Yeah, talk about the wagon.
Well, we got him a wagon. It's pretty cool. He sits in it and it's a push-pull wagon, which is good because the other wagon we had that, you could just pull it. And so the other kids who are real active in sports, and you got to take them to sports a lot, but he doesn't last all the time. So we have to drive separately, and you got to have a wagon for him because he won't walk the whole way. And this is kind of more of a heavy. It's called a veer wagon,
right?
And this is pretty cool. It's kind of heavy duty. It's off-road type thing. It would also, go to the beach.
Yeah.
So
if you haven't already, you can apply for is it the McKay Scholarship? McKay or the Gardner Scholarship. I think
they merged.
I think they merged too.
Yeah.
Anyone can apply once your kid is diagnosed, and it will help you pay for therapy or help you pay for equipment that you need for your house.
Yeah, like they're linked up with these providers that specialize in making equipment for special needs families, and so this Veer wagon is one of them. just because it's not designed for special needs, but because it's so heavy duty, it definitely does the trick. So, whether you want to go like in grass outside, even more mountains and stuff, this thing will hold up for sure. The beach as well, but it's great for the athletic fields, the sport fields. Even if you're like a stay-at-home mom or dad, and just during the day you want to go walking and take your kid, this is a good thing for it.
Yeah, I'm excited for that, actually.
Yeah.
He had like a little red wagon, which I got rid of probably 6 months ago because I had the idea in my head that he'd be able to sit next to me at the kids' games. I did try a couple times, and it was a disaster. So instead of putting myself through that, because he's really not ready, I started borrowing a wagon, and then we found this one. So it'll definitely help.
They say this is designed for 0 to 5. I think you could probably get away with it a little bit older, just probably depending on the size. But it works. And like again, it's a push-pull, meaning that the handle, you don't have to just pull. You can actually push from behind like a grocery cart.
Yeah,
and
like a stroller.
But that's different, though, than a regular wagon, which
Completely
you can't
different.
do that because the handle isn't sturdy enough. This one is. And so just when you get tired of, dragging forward, then you can push. And probably if you're looking to get like a little workout in, those are different muscles and stuff too. So
yeah,
trying to find the positives of all of this. Push, pull. Here's our new Veer wagon. Other than that, yeah, like I think we're done with holidays. We're just tired. Like, well, of course we'll always do like the presents for the kids, stuff like that. But the massive setting up of the house, I think we were trying to kind of fake it till we made it for the holidays. Those days are over. We were exhausted this year trying to figure it all out.
Well, and I don't want to put everything up and take it back down.
Yeah,
I mean, last year I put up the tree the day after Thanksgiving. He went after it, and then I had to move it and put it up again. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
No. Yeah. This was a year, this was the reckoning of like, holidays are not what we are going to ever want it to be, but we have to save sanity and get through the days. Can't spend hours in the kitchen cooking and cleaning. I mean, so here's our Christmas Eve meal, which, if you would have said 10 years ago, hey, this is going to be your Christmas Eve meal, I'd be like, nah, we weren't raised like that. Like, we got to have, like, traditional Christmases and everything like that. What was our Christmas Eve meal?
No, Christmas Day.
No, but what was our Christmas Eve meal?
Well, I was going to get pizza and wings, but I did that Friday, so I just made tacos.
Right.
Yeah.
So we had tacos. That's what
Yeah.
I was trying to get to.
Well, I was going to be pizza and wings, but we did tacos.
So we had tacos, and I would say not a lot. It's not a big Christmas Eve meal.
Right, yeah.
But your tacos are really good. So it's not like, we went to Taco Bell.
No,
Like,
I made fresh salsa.
And the chips. You do the homemade chips, which
Yes.
are really good. And the shells, you fry your own shells. Really good. Kids really love it, by the way. And then Christmas Day, our Christmas Day meal was Chinese food.
Yes.
And the kids absolutely loved it. What all this means is not a lot of work in the kitchen. We can't spend hours and hours in the kitchen and special plates and special, knives and forks, and we don't have time for that crap.
Yeah. We're not pulling out our china.
We're not. No. Well,
But
are
we
pulling
will
out our China. It's the menu to China. What's the name of that place?
Hong Kong.
Oh, Hong Kong. Oh,
We will have Chinese food on paper plates.
yeah. We
though.
will be pulling out our China, but it's the menu to the Chinese restaurant, and that's what we'll be eating. But I learned that trick back in the day when we were living in Atlanta, because my agent when I was on the radio, Norm Schrut, who's one of the best guys in the world, he left us a couple years ago, but he's a Jewish guy. And so he's like, what are you guys doing for Christmas? And at this point, we just had Tyler,
Yeah.
right? So I was like, what are y'all doing for Christmas? Like, I don't know. We'll make something, or I don't know. We had one kid, so we didn't have a lot to do. It was pretty easy back then. And I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm Jewish. I'm like, well, I know, but it's still Christmas Day. I mean, you got to do something. He goes, you don't know what the Jews do on Christmas Day? I'm like, no, I'm not Jewish. I mean, I don't know. He goes, we order Chinese. And I said, why? He goes, because that's the only place that's open. We have no choice.
That's funny.
And it's just so funny that through the years, when I've met Jewish people, and I'll be like, hey, I got to ask you, what do you do on Christmas Day? And they're like, you don't know? And I'm like, I think I know. Chinese food? And they're like, hell yeah. I'm like, oh. So we've adopted that. And so it was great because, it's like we get the food delivered, and the kids love Chinese food, and Cal is just obsessed with He calls them Chinese noodles.
Yes.
They are, what are they?
Or he says spaghetti, and it's lo mein noodles.
Oh, yeah, he gets spaghetti.
Yes.
Yeah, he calls it spaghetti, but it's lo mein noodles. And so, but it's great because the food gets delivered, and it's easy to just, kind of roll out on plates. The kids love it. And then you just pack it up and put it in the fridge, and then they eat it the next day.
They devour it the next day, even
Yeah.
for breakfast. They love it.
Yeah, so you kind of get a few meals out of it, and you don't have to spend a lot of time in the kitchen.
Well,
So-
and they were super busy. I was talking to I can't even talk to the delivery driver, and he's like, "We had to stop deliveries." He's like, "We can only do takeout because our phones are blowing up."
Yeah, that either means there's been an explosion in Jewish people in this area, or there's people like us who are like, you know what, we love what the Jews are doing on Sunday, and we're going to start doing it too.
That's funny.
So I owe that to Norm Strutt. Had to give him a shout out because he was the funniest guy I've ever met. But yeah, he sat down and told me that story. That was cool. That was
Aw, he was a nice guy.
neat. He was the best. He was the absolute best. So that's what we do now. I think that's going to be like that model. Christmas Eve will be, like tacos or pizza and wings, and then Chinese delivery on Christmas Day. And make this easy, man.
Yep, I'm doing it.
Yeah, like there are probably like some very traditional people who are like offended by this, but it's like you have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I love prime rib, but I don't want to make it, and we don't have any family here, so.
To your credit, and I thought this was probably the funniest thing, and I should have mentioned this in the beginning. At one point, the kids were like, "Oh, my friends are getting this for Christmas, and my friends want this for Christmas." And you were like, "Let me tell you something right now. Jesus is the reason for the season. Get over it." And
I did.
You went and got a cake, and what did it say? Hold on. So this is for the people who are truly offended by our new Christmas traditions. But listen to what she did, though.
Yes, I said it's about Jesus.
Right. But listen to what you did with the cake.
Happy birthday, Jesus.
Yeah, you wrote "Happy Birthday, Jesus" on the cake.
Yes.
And so it's like we haven't totally lost our moral footing.
And the kids said, "Can we sing happy birthday?" And I was like, "Please don't. Your
No.
brother's going to have a fit."
No, yeah, they wanted to. They're like, "Oh, it's Jesus' birthday. That's right. So we should sing happy birthday." We're like, no. He knows. He knows it's his birthday. He's been doing this a long time.
Well, and I wanted to get something different, like not just a regular cake, that I would get for their birthdays. So I tried to find something different, and I'm going to make this a tradition now. So I got a tres leche cake, which is like a Spanish cake or something.
It is, yeah, yeah.
So then next,
We're incorporating all the cultures and everything. So we had pizza on Christmas Eve.
Italian.
What's up, Italians? We got hooked up with the Mexicans and tacos.
I actually told somebody of this.
And then we did buffalo wings also. So I don't know who we attribute buffalo wings to. I guess the people up north.
Buffalo.
So the Yankees. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got them involved. And then the
Chinese.
The Chinese on Christmas Day. But then we brought it back home, tres leche, to the Latin Americans. And, I mean, we're just some multicultural mofos up in here, And on top of all of that, happy birthday, Jesus on the cake.
Yes.
He was the original,
That is the meaning.
Yeah.
And everyone gets tied up in all these presents.
But he's a Jew. He was a Jewish guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how much more multicultural we could get. I mean, really, we're checking a lot of boxes.
That's funny. So next year for Christmas, I will get something different than we normally have. Maybe a Boston cream pie or something for Jesus' birthday.
I liked this model. It was unpredictable. It was different. It was good. It worked for us. This would not work for most people. That's cool, but it worked for us. So it was good. And mix in there that Christmas fell on a weekend with a lot of NFL football. That was fun.
Yep.
So
it was fun. And our kids' favorite thing, literally, in their stocking, which people think is so funny, is each kid wants their own can of Pringles.
Pringles.
And they eat the entire can by themselves.
Yeah, that's sort of been a tradition you've done for years.
Yeah.
And they're sort of like...
They love it.
Yeah, that'll be one where it's like, when they're all of them in high school and stuff, they'll still expect that.
Yeah.
That'll be,
Trey even asked for it for his birthday.
another can of Pringles. Yeah.
Well, because if I just buy it for the house, like everyone shares it, and it's gone. So they want their own can.
It is like, it's so funny though. It's little things like that where you're like, yeah, I could see why that's stuck.
Yeah.
They all pull out because like we try not to have that stuff in the house all the time.
Yeah.
Kids are so active in sports. It's like, I'm telling these kids, it's like, you have no idea. Like, nutrition matters now. Okay, you're in 4th, 5th, 6th grade, but nutrition matters now. So when they get that stuff, it's like a big treat. My mom was the same way. Like, there was no sugary cereals, except if it was like a special occasion, or whatever. And even at that, I think I could only have it on Saturday mornings. But that was back in the day when cartoons were on Saturday morning. you know, and you can have sugary cereal. The rest of it, no way. I mean, Cheerios were like as unhealthy as I got.
We don't even have cereal in the house.
Our kids don't do cereal.
Which is actually pretty weird, actually.
It is, but I got to tell you, man, cereal's crap.
Well, then you put milk on top of it, which is
and
full of
the milk
sugar.
is like a candy bar in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really not good.
No, it's not good at all.
All right.
All right. Is that the wrap? We're done?
We're out.
All right. Well, almost Happy New Year.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get another podcast in before
Oh,
the
we
New
will.
Year.
It's only Tuesday. I think we're gonna get 2 more in.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll get 2 more in. I know we've got. I looked at something. Some like tips on New Year's Eve with autistic kids. God, did we learn the hard way? So later on in the week, we'll share some tips.
Yes.
And some of these tips, by the way, don't even make any sense, but we'll go through them anyway. And maybe you guys have tips. You can also go to dailyautism.com. Links to our Facebook page, Instagram are there. You can certainly find all the links to the podcast there as well, whether you listen on Spotify, Apple, whatever you're listening now. So obviously you've already figured it out, but feel free to share with people. So we'll see you on dailyautism.com.
Yes.
And we'll see you later this week. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Enjoy your Chinese food.